First of all, my name is Mary Ann Westbrook. I am president of the Tomoka Poets Society in Ormond Beach. I've also got a couple. I also have a couple of pasts. I'm a past secretary and a past president of Florida State Poets. This is my partner, Mark, and he'll introduce himself in a few minutes and tell you who he is. I must apologize for Dr. David Axelrod is Poet Laureate for the Volusia County, and he was due to MC today, and unfortunately, he has a friend in the hospital, and he is staying with her just to make sure that she is okay and everything's going on, and he contacted me and Mark last night and asked if we would come up here and MC for you all. And personally, I was very excited about that. I have come here to do poetry back probably 3 years or so ago, back when you were back in the movie theater, in the theater. Yes, I came there, and I did get to read most times. Occasionally, I was too far down the list, so I know how that is. All right, I'm going to let Mark come up and tell you who he is, and then we will get started. And on my list, Mr. Tim Daly will be up first. Mary Rogers Grantham will be second.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mark Davidson. I'm the president of the Live Poets Society of Daytona Beach. Thank you. Standing in for, I don't know how many of you would remember Bob Blenheim, but when he passed, I kind of stepped into the role. I didn't step backward fast enough, as they say. It's been a lot of fun doing this poetry gig. I'm going to suggest gently, if there's going to be a problem getting through this list, which there might be, we're fine going along. Well, I was going to suggest that we start by people reading maybe 2 poems, and then if we get past the end of the list, we can start over again. And that way we're sure. All right, so I'm going to abuse the host privilege twice here. First thing I'm going to tell you is I'm a newly published author. I have a new book of poetry that I just got from the printer on Wednesday, and it's back there on the table. So anybody likes my poetry and would like to think about buying one, see me afterwards. And my second abuse is I'm going to read first. I like my friends know I like sonnets. I write a lot of sonnets. They're all usually very serious and to the point. This one isn't. Cheesy thoughts. Our prompt expressed in one word is just cheese. A wide and ranging topic to be sure, but oh, so many aspects sure to tease present themselves with equal golden lure. There's cheese itself, world-spanning product still, from cultures near and far, both soft and hard, to spread on bread or melt or what you will, and made from cows, sheep, goats in the barnyard. Then adjectival aspects make their bow. If something's known as cheesy, is it bad? For cheesy jokes may make your head go ow, but cheesy pizzas, pasta make you glad. And how would family photos make it, please, if you could not tell poets to say, or posers to say cheese? All right. That's the kind of stuff I write. So we have Tim Daly.
Hi, everyone. I'll keep this brief. 2 poems. Last night I dreamt of home again. Last night I dreamt of home again, across the killing fields of time, past formless forms of virtue and nameless types of crime. And those giants roamed the landscape with long strides of disdain. They looked upon me kindly and treated me with pain. Though I was still so young then, hope had long already died, but with no one having noticed, so no one laughed or cried. Now my life is mostly over, and the scars have turned to stone, And though I find my peace in stages, I mostly sleep alone. There's no way to rehearse for death. We're already in the play. Just no audience there to notice what we do or say. Slightly crazy one to finish. The lunaticking clock. Sometimes I just let words play with themselves. As the lunaticking clock ticked each moment into being, I wondered where I'd put the time I'd planned to spend with you. Was it buried underneath the things I had cast aside, or busily decomposing all those things I once held true? Is the lunaticking clock absent-mindedly creating something wonderful and magical, yet strangely out of whack? Is it ticking out the heartbeat or counting down the bomb? And if I give my love to you, will I ever get it back? Is the lunaticking clock a device or an invention? Does it separate each moment or unify every one? Is it ticking that we hear? The sound of a single tear shed by a waning moon on the dawning of the sun. Thank you, guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start with a poem that commemorates and celebrates my great state of Arkansas, where I grew up. This poem also won first place in the Florida State Poets Association in 2021. It's called 136. I come from a place where time slowly simmered like a fresh cut of lean roast beef in an unforgiving oven. I come from a place where the audacity of weekday mornings strummed my nostrils awake with the arrogant aroma of roasted coffee searching for a hot country breakfast. Where Saturday morning sleep tasted like fluffy homemade biscuits smothered in foreign butter and wild berry jelly, with a side of skillet fried red potatoes. Where Sunday morning sleep tasted like a pitcher of ice cold sweet tea, a few freshly squeezed lemon slices floating like toy boats in a tub of water. Where poetry basked in dialect and culture emerged during family mealtime, showed up during prayer time, and grew wild in fields along highways. I come from a place where I picked wild blackberries by the gallon, walked barefoot with scorpions, and scaled trees that dared me to fall. I come from a place where hours of the dog days of summer moved at the pace of a charming garden snail. No hurry, no appointments, just navigating its destination. I come from a place where the pride of 136 peace-abiding folks loved the smell of their Arkansas mountains. Okay, the second poem, I'm leaving from Arkansas and I'm going to Flagler Beach. I live in Palm Coast now. I like Shel Silverstein and his book called Where the Sidewalk Ends. Well, this is after his poem, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and this one is Where the Ocean Ends. Sand and water, the perfect pedicure for my thankful feet, following a long, healthy morning walk. I stand still for a while and watch a distant world. Like a headboard, a seascape horizon separates where the ocean ends and another world begins. Like a gigantic quilt covering a mass of endless wind-driven waves, ripple, float, and roll ashore. I walk into cool waves, tilt my head skyward, briefly close my eyes and store memories of the morning. I open them to a set of thin white clouds drifting across a pure blue sky and wonder where they're going. Maybe beyond the seascape horizon, where the ocean ends, and into another world. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Lance, and Jennifer will be after Lance.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? I'm Lance Carden. This is David Pitts. I've written an introduction because it's hard for me to think when I've got a microphone in front of me. This is not one of my regular poems. Lately, I've been writing poems that can be long and more repetitive. Don't worry, this poem isn't very long, and this is the only poem I have with me. I call these poems musical because they have a rhythm and more of a beat. It can be boring to read such a poem by yourself, so to make these poems a bit more jazzy, I have been writing them for two voices. That is, the poem will be more like a dialogue than a monologue. For this reason, I've asked David to be the second voice. Now, as to the contents of this poem, it's about the political word woke. It does not say what woke might be or what woke might mean. The poem attempts to define what woke is not. That is, woke is not sleep and is certainly not about being asleep. The poem's first three words are Rip Van Winkle. You know, the one who slept for a very long time. The name of the poem is To Sleep or To Be Woke. And David will get us started. We're going to transfer the mic, and that might be a little trouble, so bear with us.
You just keep it in your hand, though.
Okay.
Rip Van Winkle went to bed.
Went to bed, went to bed.
Rip Van Winkle went to bed.
And while he did,
millions from Africa were enslaved.
enslaved.
Once again,
Rip retired. He retired.
and as he did.
Millions died in the Civil War.
Yet again, Rip went back.
To bed.
And while he snored,
Many thousands
of Indians were killed. killed.
thousands, and many more.
But Rip crept back to bed. Bed.
And as he slept, yes, as he slept,
Millions were lost in the Holocaust.
the Holocaust.
But this time, Rip was quite provoked.
By all the people who were lost.
And so he swore, "Oh, nevermore," and said,
Just think what all that sleeping cost. Thank you.
I thought about the theme, reflecting on the last year, and I have these two poems that, if you consider that reflections can mean memories, I think they fit pretty well. The first is Locket, a box tucked away, yet another box with someone's treasures, so important once, like the mountain of other boxes, unopened for 30, 40, 50 years. This box has a locket, a square with an H. So, Dad's mom's side, Holbrook. Inside will be one of Dad's people. Not a handsome lot, those women, but sturdy and stout. This time last year, Dad was dying. Tired. He was tired. Heart, kidneys, bladder. Fix one, the other quit. Quicksilver, mercury. We were clutching at the fog, trying so hard to keep him. No two lockets are the same, apparently. When I solve this puzzle, it opens. One square becomes two. But my breath is stolen. The picture has faded, a sienna square, a white oval, no homely woman, initial H. Whoever it was is gone, forgotten. My grief is desperate. 1 year ago, I lost Dad. One day, his picture will fade. White oval on a brown square. Who will hold his locket when I slip away? And this one, lest Mom feel left out, I will be your memory. Is Jennifer coming? Yes, I tell you, although I am Jennifer. I imagine shaking you until my smart, sly mother falls out. She's in there. She still sings with Johnny and June Cash, "May the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by." Every word of these lyrics remembered. Every time the words were sung in Montgomery, Alabama, you and Granddaddy at the all-night sings, remembered. But where you sleep or who I am, do you have a toothbrush and where's Daddy? These things live in the sinkholes of your gray matter, so the doctors say. Not gone, just difficult to access. A CT image is black, vacant, where it should be white. Dark where the memories hide. The calendar that dictated life before now is a puzzle you can't solve. We laugh and we go on and we pretend that this shell is my mother. You escape occasionally, maneuvering around the empty spaces when our gazes hold yours and mine in yours. You're there for me. Your hand in my hand in yours. Your hand is my hand, is yours. The arthritic arch of our little fingers twinned in our twined hands. Thank you for trying so hard to be present today, this moment, faking remembrance so well. In return, I will pretend that I don't know that you don't know.
It just occurred to me that everybody else is reading two, and I only read one, so mood altering. My friend was so bitter on Twitter that I really just wanted to hit her. But I altered her mood, gave her new attitude when I dipped her in glue and then glitter. Okay, next up we have Pat Conover.
I'm Pat Conover, for those of you who are new here today. This one is called Storm Season. Thunder rolls across the cloudscape, distant yet a portent of doom, as children cry for their mothers, anguished and inconsolable. The gathering storm sends warning. Clouds as dark as hate and evil, bearing forms of the uncaring, careen across the violent skies, echoes of their not giving a damn, hailing crescendos of despair. Storm season is upon us now, weathering the vicissitudes, shifts, reversals, twists, and turns. The magnitude of the fury becomes the focus of our souls. And one more short one. These are not happy ones, are they? This one is called The Earth Still Turns. The earth still turns in this dawn's early light, in the fade of moonlight, as it blindly surrenders to the sun, and the remaining stars are but pinpricks of light. A foreboding fills the air. Whiffs of change reveal in gentle breezes, carried into imagination as snippets of memory married with today's truth. Mist rises from the lake. The raven's call breaks stillness. A day like any other, but there is a newness separate from the new day, and we will be fearless. Resist encroaching fear, my heart implores. Resist the hate and anger. Change begets change, and this too shall pass into a history lesson. A burst of sudden calm intrudes on the cacophony and beckons me to approach the edge of the precipice. Baby steps into the unknown with a cloak of invincibility. The earth still turns.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all again. Mark asked me if I was willing, but can you hear me? But I'm not sure I'm able in the midst of such greatness. It's been a long time since I've read, so bear with me, a little bit nervous. This is my reflection on last year, and it is called Fuck You 22. January hit the gas and left December in the dust. The year promised hopes anew. Resolutions were made, my bills got paid, and I still had a job and a clue as to where my life was going. I was hopeful that this was my year, that I'd meet a great man with a heart and a plan to protect and keep me near. February rudely reminded me that cherubs had forgotten my name, and that St. Valentine's aim was still the same and shot his arrow in the wrong vein. The only sweet I tasted was that of being secure, of being self-sufficient, fewer creditors at my door. March started off okay. My job was gathering traction. Almost 4 years whiffed of security and financial satisfaction. But alas, as the month was departing and making way for the spring, my boss called with sudden news that he had sold, and my job was merely a thing of the past, non-existent, Not even a clue that I'd be unemployed, out on my ear, and nothing left to do. April ushered in Easter with lambs and bunnies and chicks. I spent the month sending resumes, being interviewed, and feeling sick to the pit of my stomach. I worried every waking hour and more that I'd not find a job and lose my house. I was an Easter basket case for sure. May brought relief and new hope when a job eventually came. The money was good, the opportunity great, and the duties exactly the same as my last job had been. Was I in a dream? It seemed too good to be real. So I put my head down and running, hit the ground and dug in my hard-working heels. June and July flew by in a flurry of hard work and plenty of money. I was on cloud 9 when cashing my checks. Life was all clear skies and sunny. But then August roared in with her mane all aflame, and suddenly the skies turned dark. My boss made an offer that I shouldn't refuse, as he leered like a bloodthirsty shark. If I didn't submit, then better to quit, or my job would hang like a thread. In his bed is where he preferred me to be. If I went to his wife, I'd not like my life, so the choice was up to me. September was an ugly whore who watched me walk and slam the door on fuckface boss, my gain, his loss. But now I crawled the streets again, untrusting of anything, especially men. With downtrodden spirit, I retraced my steps to job offers I'd since declined. Please reconsider, was my plea, but all that I could find were the new folks who bought the company, who had sold and left me unemployed. So I took the job. I needed the money, and hence they filled the void. I reluctantly accepted the offer, with doubt coursing through my veins. It seemed like they knew nothing, that this venture was merely a game where they made up the rules and thought it was cool to pretend at being the boss. It soon became clear the end was near, that the business would end in a loss. So I quickly jumped off that spiraling mess, that crazy downward ride, before the business crashed and burned to death like a car bomb suicide. October brought goblins and spooks and monsters and creatures obscene, and I applied to a job that I'd had back in 2016. My start was very promising. I shone like a star from the start, but every day since beginning, I have prayed and clutched at my heart to stop it missing a beat, to firmly plant my feet, to tread with caution and with care, to do as I'm told, eye straight, not rolled, and inhale only positive air. November, I still had my job, and thanks was constantly on my mind. I stayed in the shadows, averted my gaze, and made it hard for anyone to find fault with me, with my work, with my very being. I just did my job out of sight, no one knowing or seeing. December had a tree, but no gifts at its base. But daily I remembered this year that I'd faced and the gifts I'd been given of car, home, and money, that for every dark day I saw, I witnessed one more sunny. My spirit was attacked, my perseverance tried, but my conscience is intact and my pride is at my side. Thank you.
All right, next up is Jennifer. And after Jennifer is Pata.
By the way, I'm Jennifer Perkins. How's everybody doing? All right, instead of doing the one poem I was gonna do, I'm gonna just do 2 other ones. So this one is called I'm Used to Romance and Romance Styles. I'm used to long walks on the beach and cuddling up, eating dinners together and snuggling up. I'm used to caresses upon my hair, kisses in the moonlight, and dreamy stares. I'm used to picnics for no given reason, and rolling in the grass no matter the season. Some guys think that romance should be put down. In a relationship, romance just means love, and it should always be around. Dancing and being silly, taking showers together, a life filled of love and laughter. Well, that was before. So I'm seeking a real happily ever after. That's that one. This one is called Society. So many things in the economy are going wrong. Inflation, desperation is not a new song. People losing jobs, good work hard to find. People, I don't know, maybe they're losing their mind. Society, fix it. Will you please? Stop the crime, stop the lying. Don't you think it's just about time? Thank you.
My name is Pattia Carque. Pattia is my retirement name. I was a Patty, then a Patricia, and now I'm a Pattia. The feminine part of a patio. And I wanted to take a minute to just say hello. Some of you are very familiar to me because I've been lurking in the shadows, watching you on YouTube as I try to find some courage to come forward, because people. So mostly, I just want to say to each of you poets and those who love them, thank you. Thank you for seeking and listening to poetry during these days. You're amazing. Thank you. This poem, I grew up in Jersey City, and anybody from Jersey City will recognize that there's a long-standing argument between Jersey City and New York about to whom does the Statue of Liberty belong. And people from Jersey City will fight to the death. But this poem is called Birthing Liberty. I'd watch her from my kindergarten window. No queen, saint, princess she, but a goddess of magnificence, Our Lady Liberty. Head lifted, unbeaten, truth lighting beacon, slaves' broken chains, vision for nation. And then she'd look at me with a wink of grace. Time weathering change now threatens uprooting. Book not burned, but tarnished to make some less equal. Her voice will not be muffled. Her choice is made in strength. Her body knows the moment, for this time she was made. From earth she'll bring new birth, through waters for her daughters. She'll push for lives with rights, liberty, and justice, while looking at us to join the fight.
Thank you. Okay, next, Amy Golden. And following that, a duet by Linda and Will Stoller.
Hi, everybody. Okay. Start with a little short one. Dress me in red when I have the blues. If my heart aches, fetch my high-heeled shoes. If I read a love letter with tears in my eyes, take me out dancing until the sunrise. If I stare out the window of a cold, darkened room, bring crimson lipstick and fine French perfume. If my uniform becomes a shroud of despair, wrap silk round my shoulders, scatter pearls in my hair. Don't let me succumb, don't let me refuse. Dress me in red when I have the blues. This next one is for anybody who ever felt like a little cog in the wheel of a big corporation. All you cubicle dwellers know what I'm talking about. This is called The Natural World. I was a horse on Monday and plowed the fields all day. I chafed against my harness, but earned my oats and hay. A hound I was on Tuesday. I tossed my head and bayed, and chased the earthy, heady scent of squirrel and fox and plump pheasant, and on each tree with canine glee left wet mementos sprayed. On Wednesday, a seabird was I, plying the drafts in an azure sky, alert for a gleam or a telltale splash in the waves below for my daily catch. Thursday found me swimming beneath a storm-tossed sea, darting here and hiding there in a school of fish like me. The huge ones ate the big ones ate the small. The small ones nibbled algae. The bivalves watched us all. On Friday, a slithering snake was I, misunderstood by all. Alas, it began when Eve met that man, and I chose the wrong place to crawl. When Saturday did roll around, a lazy sloth was I, napping and eating without a care, dirt in my nails and leaves in my hair, never a thought of the future or past, just a wish to be sated and not be harassed. When Sunday dawned a gleaming, a perfect lamb was I, so white and so pure and so very demure, as gentle as morning sky. So innocently I wandered down by the garden gate, and did find myself by sunset upon the farmer's plate.
All right. I'm Will Stoller, and this is
I'm
Lindigo.
Linda Stoller, but
Yeah.
I'm Lindigo. Another name of retirement, or actually my poetry name. I'm going to tell you a little bit about us. We met in 1985. He built me a house, and then we decided to come together totally inspired, living our lives, creating. Love required. I was an SLP, working with memory, language, and speech, music, dance, signs, and poetry, creating programs to meet people's needs. He was a builder of homes supreme. I'd find the land or a house in need. We lived in those homes of beauty indeed, Vermont mountain views and nearby streams. Florida homes added to our dreams. Having lived in St. Augustine for 15 years, we moved to Melrose beneath old oak trees, met artists, poets, and lots of hippies, created Melrose open mic poetry, dance classes, and more. Yet an energy was pulling us back to this shore. Now once again in St. Augustine, excited to be here, enjoying proximity to sun, beach, and sea, and once again, the poetry.
Gentle hands twisted for war, bleeding in pain, drenching the soil, fighting for truth and justice for all. I know somewhere I heard that call. Justice for all, justice for all. Veterans have stories reluctant to share, pains and sins their souls would bear. War breeds hate, and no one wins. Can't we just give it up? We have a choice to live as one, for only then will we have won.
This one is Grandmother for Peace. I'm a grandmother for peace. Hear me roar. Put down the guns and implements of war. Enough suffering. Let there be no more. It's simply time for peace to restore. End all war. A better solution in store. We are brothers and sisters. Let war be no more. Time to get it straight from deep in our core, or there'll be no encore. Put the guns aside. Love to explore forevermore.
This is called Enough is Enough. A wise old man said, "He that knows what enough is always has enough." As we watch our world in conflict, it never seems like anyone believes they truly have enough. There are those who understand that there is more than enough to go around, but there are too many souls who just never have enough. Enough is enough. Lindigo and I recently had dinner with her clear-minded yet frail 102-year-old aunt. We asked her what advice she would give to the younger folks. She smiled and simply said, "Be grateful for what you have. Enough is enough." The culture that has spawned waste, greed, and climate disaster does not support right livelihood or the concept of conservation through sharing, caring, and enoughness. Our Mother Earth is imminently facing peril, yet we want and produce more stuff. Enough is enough. We are suffocating in the mess of too much stuff that surrounds us. As hard as it is to change and give up our comforts, it will be a damn sight harder when these resources are soon gone, simply because they've been squandered and used up. Enough is enough. I pray and plead for a radical change in our consciousness, knowing it must happen now if we are to save Mother Earth and ourselves from complete destruction. 1,000 years of healing, peace, and love is possible if we join as one spirit to heal our mother and ourselves. What greed can steal, love can heal. Enough is enough.
Okay, next up is Loretta, and after Loretta is Terry.
Okay, so I'm retired. Do I need a new name? Loretta Leto is my name. And Chrissy says all poems are either about sex or death. And I said I'm trying to choose between those. I'm going to read this one because it fits the theme and because it was written in December 31st, 2018. And child alienation is a lot like death, all right? So it's called New Year's Eve. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? How about ex-husbands, dead boyfriends? Did they really die or just dead to me in my poisoned old mind? How about children disowning their mothers over perverted perceptions of their childhood miseries? Young minds poisoned by alienation, anger, fear, guns, hate. From fathers feeling so strongly the need to win, no matter the cost. Holidays seem like a good time to stop wrapping myself like a gift in your guilt. Over destruction of that idyllic, over-the-top fairy tale life I tried desperately to give you, like my mother did for me, despite my own miseries. You were born with a broken heart. Blame me, along with all the other wrongs you believe you endured, because I was not the mother you imagined from fairy tales. My heart became broken bit by bit over time. Should I blame you, along with all the other wrongs I believe I endured because my husband was not the prince I imagined from fairy tales. Minds poisoned, hearts broken. Maybe we are both beyond repair. Will our souls survive or be swallowed because we wallowed in our miseries? Steer clear, refuse to be near. Happy New Year, my son, my beautiful boy. Once again I celebrate another holiday alone and days of old lang syne.
Hello, my name is Terry Otterman. I have a few short ones, okay? There's this tugging, this screaming, this crying, this feeling of dying. I miss you. Second one. I'm thinking about, always thinking about, running away, leaving this town, finding a new day to figure this out. My mind is racing, never stops racing. Always keep praying for things to change. Things I forgot keep popping up in my mind. I wish there was someone who could help me rewind, start this life over in a different way. Maybe someday. Two people meet as friends, not knowing how their lives will end, laughing, loving, sharing, enjoying their days. Suddenly, things change. One heart slips away. These are pretty sad. I'm sorry. Okay, this one's a little better. Maybe. I'll never forget that night on the beach many years ago. You probably don't remember, but I do. I still feel the rush of your fingers caressing my most tender parts. I'll never forget that night many years ago. I like short ones. Every day, thoughts of you invade the spaces of my mind and fill the corner of my heart. Everywhere I turn, something reminds me of you. I just can't seem to get you off my mind. I just can't seem to close the door to you. This is the last one. We were fighting a battle we had no idea we would lose. Just the memory buckles my knees as I drop to the floor. Life-changing, heartbreaking, growth-spurting, faith-building, our lives never to be the same. Trust. Thank you.
All right, next is the redoubtable Tony Ehrlich, and he will be followed by Christy. Okay, good.
My name is Tony Ehrlich. I live in Barberville. That's a little farming community in the northwest corner of Volusia County. I've been writing all my life, but mostly for myself. A couple of years ago, I found out, and I thought that Florida was a cultural desert. A couple of years ago, I found out that Volusia County is full of poets. It's a hotbed of poetry. I like how I jumped in. I belong to two groups of poets in the county. Tomoka Poets. Mary Ann is the president of Tomoka Poets. The Live Poets Society of Daytona Beach. Mark is the president of that. These groups have been helping me tremendously with my poetry. I go and as we all do there, we go and read our poetry and vet it, and others comment and are very helpful and polite. I'm also, my poetry mentor is Dr. Axelrod, and I'm working with him on a book of poetry, my first poetry book, and I hope it will be available in a few months to come. I have two poems. The first one is called Time. The old woman decided it was time. She took down her favorite mixing bowl, the brown ceramic, with the special glaze that her friend had made. It was early in the morning, no noises, not even the cats were awake, nothing to distract her. So into the bowl she poured the memories of the life she had lived. No, you can applaud any time. It's not the end of the poem. Into the bowl, she poured the memories of the life she had lived, the pain of giving birth to her children, the joys of seeing them grow, the warmth of friendship, the ecstasies of love, the satisfaction of work well done, the disappointments of love, of selfish thoughts, lack of sympathy toward others, hurtful remarks, given and received. They all went into the bowl. She found her favorite stirring spoon, the wooden one with the 10-inch handle, and stirred for a long, long time. Occasionally adding another memory suddenly recalled, the spice of some words, the savory of a touch, the scent of skin. When it was mixed, she took the large jar from the shelf and poured the mixture into it, being careful not to spill any memories. Put the lid on, sealed it tightly. Taking her time as the sun rose, she carried the jar on the long path in the woods to the clearing her husband had made. In the quiet of that place, she sat down, placed the jar on the ground, and contemplated the vapors rising from the swirling mixture. Finally, she felt the time had come. She took off the lid, tipped the jar on its side, lay down beside it, closed her eyes, breathed in deeply of the cloud that issued forth. This poem is a little different in mood and tone. It's called Imaginings. On the way out, I asked the friendly nurse if I could get a copy of the doctor's report from my previous visit. She clicked on the keyboard and collected papers from the printer. I said, "The doctor showed me a copy of a note from my urologist. Can I get a copy of that as well?" "I don't see a note in your file," she said. "Perhaps it's in the doctor's report." She read through the papers. "No, it's not in there either." "Maybe I just imagined it," I said, looking directly at her. "I've been imagining a lot of things lately." Smiling broadly at this, she said, "Imagining is good. It makes you feel good. That's the trouble with people these days. They don't imagine things." I wondered, did she say that because of the twinkle in my eye, or because of the references to my libido in the report? I left the office with a warm glow, my body suffused with a feeling of well-being. "Imagining things is good," the nurse had said. I wondered if she imagined what I had been imagining. Then, as I got into the car, I wondered what she herself had been imagining when she smiled so broadly at me.
Hi, I'm Christy Sheffield Sanford, and
I'm going to read to you from a piece that's about 30 pages long. So you're getting sort of almost at the end of this particular piece. And what I did was try to do what some artists have done. Japanese woodblock artists would take an image of a mountain and then maybe go see that mountain when there was snow and then a seasonal changes. So that's an idea that Monet took up and did it with the flower lilies in his pond and with haystacks and with even with a train leaving a station. So what I did was take images with my little phone of a Schefflera plant, which is a common house plant that had obviously escaped and gone really crazy. And it was a beautiful time of berrying. So it has this bright orange berries and just loaded with them when I first started. By the time I finished, the berries were black. So I did it over time and took images and then I would write about them and whatever it evoked. So it's kind of an ekphrastic, which is that you're working from images, but usually it's somebody famous. And so anyway, I'll just, for something to be beautiful, it doesn't have to be pretty. Ra Kawakubo, creator of Comme des Garçons. Outdoor wallpaper, new, improved landscape, remove dross, remove dress. Throw on spring, summer, fall, winter, Wonder Woman cape. You're transforming into a print of the perennial. See Japanese woodblock series or Monet following a haystack. Can a still life wither beautifully? What should you wear to a wither? What will I do when the little flowers bloom? Hide in my room or share my perfume? Allow myself the luxury of lust? Lust is the exchange of one dust, microscopic mites, for another, skin cells. In Japan, we say yozakura and spend the night under stardust. I know we are stardust, just not hoagies. Gazing at lighted cherry blossoms. Welcome, spring. Enter through my boudoir window. Boo, surprise, it's me, it said. And one last thing I want to say about this is I was taking some inspiration from the poet Stephen Mallarmé, who wrote A Throw of the Dice, and he was writing across the gutter of the page. So what I'm doing is I'm writing 2 pages at a time, or what they call 2 pages up, where you cross the gutter. And that's a lot of fun, breaking that taboo. And I was all the way up to page 27, I think, before I realized that I hadn't even done that. And I had been talking about it and acting like I was doing Mallarmé, and I wasn't.
Okay, we're getting there. Next up, Lynn. Lynn, and after Lynn is Joe.
Happy New Year. It's the year of the water rabbit. So rabbits are very social, and so I'm glad we all could be together today in this social gathering. This is a poem about a question that I asked myself at the beginning of the year. Is today important? What is new about a new year? Does everything just recycle? The seasons, the days, the months, the holidays, the games, the news? What is the value of a new year? Is it just a human motivator for change that sometimes does and does not come to pass? But change is always happening. with or without clear intention, action, or will. Maybe the value of the new is in the moment we look back and see we are not where we were, not how we were. And we do have something, some small part to play in that difference. Today is important especially if yesterday there was an invisible prison of a barely inhabitable body and mind, tired of trying everything to make the unbearable bearable, trapped in an obsessive lunacy of viewing this life as the center of the universe, creating burdens for those who love but cannot fill that kind of emptiness. Today is important. If yesterday and the days before, slowly, the smallest of changes in habit were made, that which does not support was released. And who or what brings life was welcomed, and full allowance was given to be drawn by the pull of true love. Look deeply in our eyes. Last year is completely done. Enslavement is never coming back. The puzzle pieces that were missing are found. The pieces that were broken are mended. The shape emerging is a different together. A picture that has never been appears, living simply for others. Return morning smiles and appreciate ordinary things. Crave the beauty of minds and the stories of bodies, and wish all hearts are filled with the sun, with the blessed patience of nature and the moon's loving kindness lighting the way. Yesterday, crossed the evening bridge to love's heaven and arrived at the importance of this new day.
I've never spoken into a microphone in my life. They're intimidating as can be. Wow, still a good crowd. Poets. First things first, it was remarkable that 16 people plus extras wanted to get up and say something. Welcome 2023, right? Now, this is obviously way more for me than for you, but I'm just gonna read this one. '71, Woodstock was coursing through every vein in America. It was an extraordinary time, the confluence of the Age of Enlightenment. 1969, 10 years on either side, 59 to 79. Only the Renaissance rivaled it. I was living in a house. The girl came to the house. As Sweetwater plays, so quiet, so tranquil, so dead. The earth has halted, only I remain. Nearby she sleeps, restful, uninterested. Can she see me through those closed eyes? Does she realize? Nope. She is uninterested. Life does not exist, except in her furthermost dreams and fantasies. For she is reduced to slumber, and in slumber she is bound, so fortunate. I am jealous. I cannot sleep. I must toil soon. Yet I cannot be mad, for watching her sleep rewards me. As I look upon her this moment, I behold an image of saintliness. She's fair, and her expressionless face enhances her beauty. Sleep safe, secure, silent, for a new day is coming. Another gift of a passing day is yours to enjoy. The birds, the trees, the flowers, the sky awaits your awakening. Come back to life quickly, save me. For I am very lonely here as Sweetwater plays. Thank you.
We are going to have V. Garcia next, and follow that with Bridget Birdsall, and then we're going to wrap up with our ever-patient host, Marianne Westbrook.
Hi, my name is Veronica Sharp Garcia, and I'm going to read two very short poems that were published in literary magazines. The first one is called Sweet Nectar. Buzz by morning, hummingbird battles rattle away. Heart clenches, chest tightens, rest of body falls away. Brain blocks all that is, look away, focus. Wall to wall, whirling, huddle over knees. Under, over, paddle, pewter, sweep. Bees float desperately. Cupped hands, water fingers, gently settle, each one along the pool edge. Be quick, they sting, don't fall back in. Melody the wind. Slippery plastic bag, seagulls along for the ride. Beige bracelet, child's toy, cell phone. Milky cows, an impossible tattoo. Look away at me like a crow, waiting. Chattering town bell, dusk bodies dipping. Salty mineral sea bath, puffy vapor trail skyline. Undersea, turtle punches coral. A suitcase, a fluttering newspaper, a reed. Thank you.
The poem I'm going to share with you was recently read through the Center for Sacred Studies and the Mother Earth delegation globally through Grandma Jyoti, who's one of the 13 indigenous grandmas, part of a program that I was involved in. It's called Medicine Songs, and it was inspired by my last 2 years of work with them. To save yourself, she said, you must learn to sing the medicine songs backwards, back to the beginning where there was only spirit. Then you will find your way forward, for there is no forward without the beginning. There is only loss. To save yourself, she said, you must remember who your true mother is. You must listen carefully, for she has been humming your name for eons beyond eons. Has known you before she seeded you in your mother's womb. To save yourself, you must be willing to be still, even in the pain, to wait, to heal, to grow, To save yourself, you must believe you are worthy of love, of love, of love. To hear your true mother's song, you must listen with a strong heart in your ears. To know her call, you must walk on her back, a prayerful walk. Come to know her cracks, her crevices, her sacred waters. To let her warm winds spend your words and wishes wisely. To never give up, even when the rain refuses to come, even when death dogs your shadow. For in truth, death has followed at your feet always. She is your holy waiting. In the silent storm between the notes of your life, to understand the beauty of existence, yours and your true mother's, you must of all things sing yourself back to the beginning, because there you will discover you are her, and she has never forgotten your name. So sing yourself backwards, my friend, for your life is but a spark inside a greater heart. And when your medicines catch fire, that small self you so desperately wanted to save will finally, collectively, learn how to fly higher. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay tuned.
A Poet's Prayer. Elusive errato, let my imagination soar. Let my mind see with clarity. Inspire my soul to sing. Let my eyes see beautiful imagery that I may pass on to others. Let my ears hear rhythm and rhyme. Let my heart have the courage to speak my mind. Let my mind have the sense to speak my heart. This I ask you to bestow on me, a humble poet. This one is just to show you how much fun you can have in the afternoon with poetry. It's called, you get a kick out of it. This is called Selenic Passage. The silent silvery moon rose swiftly up the soot-colored horizon, slipped slowly across the starry sky, scattering sparkling diamonds across the salton sea, then slid sleepily away from the sneaking sunrise and set with a satisfied sigh. Thank you, everyone, for a wonderful afternoon. I have had a most wonderful time here. I loved hearing all of your poetry, and I'm going to do my best to get back next time.
Yes, thank you all. It's been very lovely. If you got time, I discovered going through my stuff, I actually wrote a poem about St. Augustine. You want to hear it? I do ekphrastic poetry too, and somebody did this magnificent painting of some street in St. Augustine. And I took an ekphrastic poetry course in the Museum of Arts and Sciences in Daytona, where they have the painting. There's a it's called Happy Street. There's a rain-swept street in an ancient town, which tourists wander up and down and peer in window and enter shops, while umbrellas shield them from raindrops. Up high above, the clouds roll on, the sun comes out, the rain is gone. Then smiles brighten each tourist's face, and each thinks, gosh, I just love this place. For a major part of Florida's charm is ancient and modern blending. The warm sun eases some muscles and backs, and tourist and local alike can relax. Perhaps you would like to be part of this scene? Come on, let's go to St. Augustine. Thank you all again for coming. It's really been great. Now I understand we're going to mix and mingle here. Is that the plan? Okay.